I swear, the number of people knowing a lot about Apex Legends and knowing literally nothing about Titanfall is simply heartbreaking. The game is actually a predecessor and even parent to Apex, but bad release date and quite bad marketing campaign buried this game under the sands of time. But sooner or later, people will appreciate this gem. And I guess the time is now. And of course, today we're gonna talk about Titanfall 2. A sequel to futuristic FPS game came out in 2016, and it was received pretty well back then. But since the rise of an Apex Legends, which is an official continuation of the game, is Titanfall 2 actually worth it to play now? As always, I'm gonna answer this question right away. Yes, the game is absolutely worth it to buy and play right now, with its pretty good campaign, amazing gameplay, and fantastic multiplayer. But as always, let's back up a bit. What Titanfall even is and how it plays. In this game, we actually need to consider two different elements that are completely different from each other. It is its single player campaign and its multiplayer. The multiplayer is probably the more important part of the game, but let's start with the single player first to get it out of the way. In a single player campaign, you're playing as a soldier in a space war between the giant space corporate conglomerate and the rebel militia. You're dropped on a planet to fight as a militia, but you're quickly overwhelmed. Your objective basically is to survive, become a pilot, which is this universe's version of some kind of super soldier, and to uncover the plot behind the enemy lines. And to be fair, without being complicated at all, this campaign is pretty pleasant and fun to play. As you go through the game, you also unlock a Titan, which is kinda your AI partner and the giant robot which you can fight with in the same thing, which is incredibly fun to play with, and which is an integral part of the multiplayer as well. So we go through the missions one after another until you will complete the game in around 6 or 7 hours. And yeah, campaign is not very long. As you go through the game, you unlock the different elements of a gameplay like wall running, double jumping, unlocking different Titan loadouts, unlocking your different weapons, etc, etc. The regular thing as in any other single player campaigns. But the most important and most interesting thing about this campaign is its level design and the variety of missions, not the plot. Every single mission is unique in a way that it has its own flavor which does not repeat in the future. One mission is purely based in the sewers, and basically you need to get out of the way of enemies as soon as possible without getting overwhelmed. In the second mission, you need to find a way through a moving conveyor belt which builds entire environments in front of your eyes, and you need to navigate through that as an environment is being built around you. Another mission is purely based on climbing a giant tower, and you're basically spending majority of the mission in mid-air. In another mission, you are given an ability to travel between two different points in time, and you can actually affect the things in the past to change things in the future. And this travel is seamless. And one mission purely happens on a flying ship which is in the middle of a combat. And it's extremely difficult to explain how it feels because every single level has its own variety, its own distinct feel. But I can safely say that for the first time in really long time, I was not bored of a single player even for a single second, because every time I was progressing, something new was unlocking for me and something different. And weirdly enough, for the first time in years of my gaming, I wanted to go through campaign one more time immediately after I completed it. I usually never do it. And to be fair, I did it second time as well, because the sheer amount of fun that you can get in this single player campaign with your pilot and with your Titan is simply nothing to be compared with. It's just a lot of pleasure to play. But here's a question: would I recommend to buy this game for the campaign alone? I'm gonna be really honest with you. I would not pay $60 for this campaign even if I had to go 3 or 4 or 5 times and enjoy every second of it. But thankfully, the game doesn't cost $60 anymore. And it's pretty easy to find on a sale. And on a sale, even on 50% sale or especially even higher, it is absolutely worth it to buy for the campaign alone. And to be fair, I'm not a great example because I'm a pretty cheap buyer. I almost never buy games in a full price, no matter how amazing they are. So campaign alone is absolutely worth it on a discount. But you would be missing so if you'd buy the game only for campaign, because the multiplayer is where this game actually shines. Multiplayer in this game is completely different beast compared to single player. If in single player you felt like an unstoppable machine who would destroy anything in your path, in a multiplayer you will be destroyed over and over and over again. Yes, the multiplayer in this game is incredibly fast. And if you thought that Apex Legends or Call of Duty was fast, yeah, you never played Titanfall. This time, unlike multiplayer, because everyone around you who plays the game with you has the same powers as you. They can wall jump, they can become invisible, they can increase their speeds and whizzing through the levels, which are pretty large. The maps in this game is pretty big and you will never feel claustrophobic on those levels. It will create an amazing gameplay moments for you. You'll be looking around and you'll see how enemies and friendlies are flying and whizzing past you, and you will not understand what the hell is happening. But a few games later, you will understand the feeling and get up to a pace. You will become faster, your reflexes will become faster, and eventually you will start killing other players as well. But the great thing about Titanfall multiplayer is that you don't really need to play against other players. You can actually gain victory in a multiplayer match without ever shooting at another player. Because in a match with you, there are a bunch of other bots running and fighting alongside you, and they're much easier to kill, and they count towards a match score as well. There are regular grunts running around, which are just simple soldiers. There are a bunch of robots who are fighting with those grunts. There are smaller titans, there are other titans running around, and you can just gain extra XP by destroying these bot players. But when the player titans will start spawning, oh boy, the game changes again. Because suddenly fast-paced but pretty fragile pallets will be suddenly replaced with a giant, slow, but very durable and very punching robots. It is incredibly difficult to explain how it feels to go through a multiplayer match in this game. But trust me, unless you're an old player who is used to old arena shooters, which was incredibly fast in the past, you have never felt anything like that. Even Apex Legends and Call of Duty and other fast-paced multiplayer shooters will feel incredibly slow and restricted after this game. And yet, trust me, I cannot play Apex Legends after this. I simply cannot. It feels incredibly slow for me. Because in any other multiplayer, you cannot double jump, you cannot wall run, and anything like that. But what about progression in multiplayer? You need to be doing things for something, right? Well, this game is actually made by creators of original Call of Duty. So the progression system is pretty similar to that. You're leveling up your character, you're unlocking different loadouts, different weapons, different abilities, and you're even leveling those to unlock different attachments, etc. You're also unlocking new titans, new titan loadouts, and of course you're unlocking the customization of everything. There's something reminiscent of clans as well to make gameplay even more fun, and there is also a prestige system like in Call of Duty. Overall, because of multiplayer alone, you would want to buy this game, because there is nothing like that. Maybe the first Titanfall, but second one is actually much better. But here's a question that you might be asking. The multiplayer is fun, but without a player base, it's not. So, is the game actually alive or not? The game came out in 2016, and the player count in these old games, comparatively old games of course, is incredibly important. And I can safely say the game is alive and well. If you're playing on Origin compared to Steam, there are actually less players there. But still, it's more than enough for you to jump into casual matches and just enjoy the game. On Steam, on the other hand, there is at least 1,000 players all the time for at least past few months now. And it usually jumps to 2,000 to 3,000 in peak hours, which is more than enough for multiplayer. And to be fair, all-time highs since 2016 was just a few weeks ago, which was 27,000 concurrent players. To be fair, the game is actually undergoing a new renaissance because of the popularity of Apex Legends. And if you want, you can call this game an Apex Legends, but smaller. And on steroids. So overall, let's conclude it again. Is this game actually worth it to buy and play today? If you like fast-paced shooters and you don't mind futuristic setting, and you want a pretty satisfying campaign as well, and you want to feel an unparalleled freedom of movement that is never repeated in any modern shooters, then absolutely yes, this game is well worth your purchase, and you're gonna enjoy every second of it. And of course, after you stop dying in a multiplayer every single second, but you have to go through this first. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button, which is right here. And don't forget to hit our next video that you might enjoy. I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.